Hey guys, and welcome to this new episode of SideQuest, and today we're going to be looking at my recent video game pickups. And I must admit, it's actually been quite a while since I last added to my collection. And it's, in 2020, it's getting harder to do that with the inflated shipping prices, because of COVID, and the shops not being open, or shops being shut down. It's kind of a rough time to be a collector. But I have a small handful of games that I've got here that I want to show. First off is one that I somehow forgot in my SNES collection video, so let me remedy that immediately, and it is Mystic Quest. Now, Mystic Quest is a game I absolutely love. It's a very, very nostalgic game for me, and I've actually talked about it in another video, which will hopefully come out before this. But, you know, maybe not the greatest Final Fantasy game, but Final Fantasy Mystic Quest is a game that, in my mind, is kind of carried almost entirely by its soundtrack, because that soundtrack is amazing. Oh my god, it gives me chills just thinking about the awesome soundtrack. But yeah, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Great game. Alright, let's start off with some PlayStation games now. First up is Duke Nukem Total Meltdown. Now, this is the Duke Nukem 3D port for PlayStation, and really the only reason I got it is because it has an exclusive episode called Plug and Pray, that has some new levels, and I gotta admit, this game has not aged well at all. The controls for the PlayStation 1 version here really suck. They're really stiff, and turning is kind of a chore. Yeah, I don't think I would recommend this version, if I'm being honest, but I now have just about every port of Duke Nukem 3D except for the Saturn version, which I don't know whether I'll pick up. Alright, next up is actually a really good game that I've been wanting to play for a little while, and that is Dino Crisis. Now, of course, I got this really cheap since it was just, pretty much disc only, but that's fine. I'll end up probably getting like a reproduction case for it. Dino Crisis is a game I actually have never played, but I've known of it for a long time, and people always praise how great it is as a survival horror game, so I'm glad to finally have this in my collection. Alright, next up is a Saturn game, and dear lord, I'm going to forget the title, but it's going to pop up on screen. And I found this through one of the Saturn Facebook groups I'm in, and somebody mentioned it, like, oh, it's really great, it's a fun little RPG if you can fumble your way through it, and I'm definitely not opposed to fumbling my way through an RPG, or at least a little bit of an RPG from time to time, and this one is just gorgeous. I wish it had gotten a US release, and I really apologize that I cannot remember the name of it right now, but I will certainly put it up on the screen. But yeah, and this only cost me like $15, so not bad at all. And actually, even the little manual has a cool little map in it. Nice colored map. Next up is actually a trilogy of games, and that would be the Go Ahman series for the Super Famicom. And these are some games that I've been eyeing for probably the last year and a half or so, because I know that they're all pretty fun little platformers, and I found somebody on eBay who was selling them all together for $50, which is a really good steal, because I want to say each one of these go for like anywhere from $25 to $30 by themselves, so I was really glad to pick them all up at the same time. And actually, after playing them, they remind me a lot of Ghost Super Mikami. A very similar graphic style and kind of similar gameplay, not as good, but I was impressed, and I will certainly talk about these more in depth in a future review. Alright. Moving along with more Super Famicom games, here we have The Great Battle. I picked this up off of... Oh, would you look at that? It's got a little star on the top of it. I didn't even notice that. Well, I picked this up for $5 off of Mercari, which is kind of like an eBay type thing. Occasionally you'll find some decent deals on there. And yeah, Great Battle 2 for $5. That's great. It's a beat 'em up, and it's actually one I played a couple years ago, and I kind of always planned on getting it and just kind of forgot. Other games took precedent. But I finally have it in my collection. I'm really glad. And of course, you know, it's in the same series as like Rider Spirit, or not Rider Spirit. The other one. That game that, you know, I can't think of. Oh goodness, that's the only problem with all these Japanese games. It's just trying to remember all of their names. Next up is Undercover Cops. Now this is a reproduction, but Undercover Cops is it's one of those really expensive beat 'em ups for the Super Nintendo, and it was an arcade port, and it's another one of those games where the first level like blows your mind, and then everything after that is never quite as good as that first level, because the first level of this game ends with an awesome like Terminator like boss battle where you're fighting this guy and he turns out to be a robot, and there's this gigantic crusher in the background that you can knock him into, and if he gets crushed by it, it's instant death. But you can also get crushed by it. It's really cool. One of these days I will certainly talk about Undercover Cops. And to finish off this video, we have a nice boxed copy of Lady Stalker, which is in the Landstalker franchise. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the box is a little beaten up, so it really doesn't want to stand up. But Lady Stalker is, from the, I want to say 15-20 minutes I played of it, is pretty fun. The Landstalker series is not one I'm super familiar with, but I knew enough about it, and I've actually heard people talk about Lady Stalker before. And for, I want to say $16, picking up this boxed copy seemed like a pretty great idea. And it was. From what I played, it was pretty fun. So that is going to do it for this pickups video. There will certainly be more in the future, I'm sure, so thanks for watching. And if you liked the video, let me know, and check out my reviews and other videos like this. And I'll see you next time.